Welcome to the 1099 Prep Submission Overview. In this video, we'll introduce you to the submission process, including filings and delivery of statements to recipients. After you have created tax forms in 1099 Prep, it's time to submit tax forms to tax agencies responsible for processing. If you have any questions about how to use 1099 Prep, please see our overview. Submitting forms requires the creation of a cart, then choosing how to deliver tax statements to recipients, and finally making a payment. After the payment is made, forms are submitted to required tax agencies. 1099 Prep helps track submissions by sending email notifications with updates regarding the status of forms. Once tax forms are created, users with the admin or submitter roles can add draft forms to the cart individually at the form level, or in bulk from the actions at the top of the screen. After you have added forms, click the cart icon in the customer toolbar to see all forms in the cart. Adding forms to the cart kicks off the filing process. A cart is a group of forms ready for submission. The cart allows a final review before submission. Carts are designed for a single user, meaning other users cannot see or submit forms in a cart created by another user. If there is a situation when a user is unavailable, a form can be removed from the cart by an administrator. Reviewing the cart organizes forms by customer, payer, and recipient. A cart is for a single customer, but can contain forms from multiple payers. Just like the customer dashboard, there are actions associated with items in the cart. You can preview forms that are ready for submission by clicking on the View Document action. The Remove action will remove the form from the cart and put it back in draft status. If all the forms need to be removed from the cart, there is a Clear Cart action at the bottom of the screen. The cart allows the user to choose the delivery method for the statements to recipients. Recipients are required to be provided with copies by the deadline associated with the form. Mailing or emailing are the two options provided by 1099 Prep. If you choose None, the payer will be responsible for delivering the correct copies before the deadline. If the email option is selected, recipient consent to electronic delivery of recipient statements must be confirmed before submission. If the submission requires more than one delivery method, please create separate carts based on the delivery method. Validations. 1099 Prep runs a validation check to confirm the submission. If issues are found, 1099 Prep displays a brief description of the issue. If there are unresolved issues, the submission option will be disabled. Common validation issues include missing email addresses when email is selected as the delivery option, missing state accounts, and missing state reconciliations. Summary forms such as 1096 and W3 can be generated within the reporting module. These forms do not need to be submitted to the IRS when e-filing with 1099 Prep, but can be created for archiving purposes. At any point in the cart process, the estimated total is displayed and the detailed cost list icon to see a breakdown of cost. 1099 Prep supports volume-based pricing, meaning the more you submit, the more you save. The price is estimated until submission because if another user submits a cart, the price may decrease. The price will be finalized at the time of submission, and a receipt will be emailed to the submitting user. Payments. Once all validation issues have been resolved and all forms have been reviewed, the cart is ready for submission. The next step is to make a payment so the forms can be submitted for processing. At any point in the cart process, the estimated total is displayed, and user can view a breakdown of the charges under the detailed cost list. By clicking the Submit for Processing button, you will be taken to a secure payment portal to enter your payment information. Enter the address and card details and submit. 1099 Prep only accepts US-based credit cards. International credit cards are not allowed. If you're planning on filing a large number of forms, 1099 Prep does provide an invoicing option. Please contact support at 1099-prep.com for more information. Submission. Once forms are submitted, confirmation and a receipt are sent to the submitting user. Emails will be coming from noreply at 1099-prep.com. Please verify that email is trusted and not going to spam. If for any reason you did not receive an email, the cart screen allows for both the confirmation and receipt emails to be resent. All forms filed by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the deadline will be considered timely by the filing agency. After a period of review, the filing agency will mark the forms for acceptance or rejection. In busy season, this could be several weeks, but the deadline is based on submission, not acceptance. When the tax agency makes a decision, an email will be sent to notify the submitting user. Later in this video, we will discuss the acknowledgement process, including how to handle a rejection. As long as forms are filed before the tax deadline, you should not be subject to penalties for late filings. Keep in mind, once submitted, the card is submitted and cannot be recalled. If there are issues or changes required at this point, an amendment will be required. Corrections and negations cannot be started until the initial filing is accepted. See our corrections video for more details. If a form fails submissions, it means 1099 Prep found an issue with that form. At times, there may be a validation added later in the tax year that is not presented when the form is created. It is important that all validations are checked, so there may be a few are handled at submission. If a form fails submission marked as failed, it means it was not sent to the IRS. The form will need to be reviewed based on the feedback and resubmitted before the deadline. If the form is failed, there will be a form-level action as well as a bulk action for the reopen process. Once the form is reopened, edit the form and resubmit before the deadline. If the mail option is selected for statements to recipients, forms are mailed weekly with extra mailings during tax filing season. This includes additional mailings close to the tax deadline. Forms submitted by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the deadline will be sent with a postmark before the deadline. Forms sent via USPS may take 10 to 14 business days for delivery. As long as forms are postmarked before the deadline, filing obligations have been met. To confirm the mailing date, please run the cart status report from the company dashboard. If the email option is selected for statements to recipients, 1099 Prep sends an email to the recipient's email address. This email has a link to 1099 Prep, allowing them secure access to 1099 Prep. If the recipient cannot locate the email, there is an action at the form level for resending. It is the submitter's responsibility to resend these emails. Support can't help in these instances due to the sensitive nature of tax data. If the recipients have trouble accessing their statements, the user guide can provide instructions. Once a card is submitted, statements can no longer be delivered by 1099 Prep via mail or email. The recipient forms report is available to help with this scenario. Acknowledgement. When the IRS makes a decision, an email will be sent to notify the submitting user. Since this process can take weeks, the submitting user will log back into 1099 Prep. You will see the company dashboard displaying the customer with the new form statuses. There is also a cart lookup that pulls up the cart that was acknowledged. For more details, please see the 1099 Prep video on corrections. On the customer dashboard, the submission action will now be displayed on the action panel. The submission screen is useful if there are several carts for a single customer. This is a good time to revisit the reporting module. The final forms report allows you to generate a report of tax forms that were submitted. This report is used to generate copies of submitted tax forms for your records or distribution to payers. Please note you can create a 1096 or W-3 summary form when you are creating a final forms report. If recipient copies are still needed at this point, the reporting module can assist with that process as well. The recipient forms reports allows the recreation recipient copies for manual delivery at any point throughout the filing season. If the form is rejected, you'll be able to edit and resubmit. There will be a form-level action as well as a bulk action for this process. If a form is rejected, in most cases there will not be a penalty as long as the form is resubmitted in a timely manner. To help avoid rejections, use the address verification and TIN matching features. Once the form is updated, the same steps apply. The user will add the form to the cart for review and submission. If the form is accepted, in most cases the filing process is complete. There are some scenarios where amended forms are required, such as a correction or a negation. For more details, please see the 1099 Prep video on corrections. Keep in mind, 1099 Prep submissions are only allowed for the current filing year. The IRS will close for submissions in November, so make sure filings are completed. If a deadline is missed, the sooner the form is submitted, the lower the penalty. Penalties increase over time, so submit forms as soon as possible. With these features and options, 1099 Prep automates the submission process, empowering you to prepare, manage, and submit forms with confidence. For more tips and resources, check out our support portal, training materials, and quick links available to keep your filing on track.